State issues 2.5 million Golden State stimulus payments. The Franchise Tax Board announced last week that 2.5 million Golden State stimulus payments worth $1.6 billion have been issued to eligible taxpayers. We passed the recovery package to get money into the pockets of Californians who were hit hardest by this pandemic, and that's exactly what the Golden State stimulus is doing, already getting $1.6 billion to 2.5 million Californians, Governor Gavin Newsom said in a news release. State Controller and FTB Chair Betty T. said the Golden State stimulus will provide a measure of relief to California taxpayers deeply affected by the pandemic. The stimulus, combined with the California Earned Income Tax Credit, will provide hundreds or even thousands of dollars to many individuals and families in need, year-out. To receive this assistance, you must file your 2020 state income tax return. Who receives payments? 3 groups of Californians are eligible for the one-time GSS payments. $600 goes to people who file with a Social Security number and claim and receive the California Earned Income Tax Credit. $1,200 goes to people who file with an individual taxpayer identification number and claim and receive CALIC. $600 goes to taxpayers who file with an ITIN and do not qualify for CALIC but had $75,000 or less in 2020 income. How to qualify? To qualify for GSS, 2020 state income tax filers must have lived in California for more than half of the 2020 tax year. Be a California resident on the date the GSS payment is issued. Not be eligible to be claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return. How long to receive payment? Stimulus payments were sent to Californians who filed their 2020 tax returns this year from January 1 through April 23. For returns filed on or after April 23, FTB will issue payments after eligible 2020 tax returns are processed. Eligible filers should allow up to 45 days for payment if they use direct deposit. Paper checks may take up to 60 days. Help with the Golden State stimulus. For a complete list of requirements and other GSS information, visit ftb.ca.gov Golden Status Stimulus. For information on CALIC, visit ftb.ca.gov CALIC. A separate program called the Golden State Grant is also available, which is administered by the California Department of Social Services. The one-time GSG payments of $600 will be provided to all eligible CalWORKS assistance units and recipients of benefits under both the Supplemental Security Income (SSI) State Supplementary Program and the Cash Assistance Program for immigrants to provide COVID-19 pandemic relief. For more information on these GSG payments, visit link below. Stimulus check update. 164 million payments and counting. Stimulus checks are going out at full speed. Ever since the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan was signed into law back in mid-March, stimulus payments have been flying into Americans' hands at a rapid clip. In fact, approximately 164 million payments have been issued to date between direct deposits to bank accounts, physical checks, and debit cards. All told, the government has given out about $386 billion, and it still has work to do. Most recently, a batch of over 1.1 million payments was sent out, totaling over $2 billion in stimulus funds. About 600,000 of those payments came in direct deposit form, while the rest of those payments were sent out in the mail. Are you still waiting on a stimulus check or a more generous one? The IRS can only send stimulus checks to people it knows are eligible for that money. If you didn't file a tax return for 2020, the agency may not realize you're entitled to a payday. Or you may get stuck with a lower stimulus amount than you're eligible to collect. If you filed a 2019 tax return, the IRS will use that information to determine what stimulus you're owed. But if your income has gone down since then, which was the case for a lot of people last year, then you may be entitled to a higher payout. The IRS will catch you up on what you're owed via a plus-up payment, but it can't do that until you submit your 2020 taxes, so it can see what income you claimed last year. In fact, the IRS will be issuing new stimulus payments on a weekly basis until it's confident everyone who's entitled to a payment has gotten one. The sooner you file your taxes, the quicker you can get your money. Another benefit of filing a 2020 tax return? You may be in line for some lucrative tax credits that the IRS can only pay you for if it knows you're entitled to them. The American Rescue Plan, for example, boosted the child tax credit substantially. While that credit previously maxed out at $2,000 per eligible child, it's now worth up to $3,600. But if you don't file a tax return, you'll lose out on that money. Similarly, you may be entitled to another lucrative tax credit called the Earned Income Tax Credit, which is meant for lower income filers. But the IRS can't issue your payout without a tax return on record. Now the good news is that if you have an income of $72,000 or less, you're entitled to file your taxes for free. As such, you have little to lose by filing a return, even if you weren't planning on doing one for the 2020 tax year. Time to get moving. While the tax filing deadline is coming up on May 17, you can still submit a return once the deadline has passed. In fact, if you don't owe the IRS money, there won't be any penalties for submitting your return late. It's only filers who underpay their taxes who lose out financially by missing the deadline. Of course, filing by May 17 could get you your stimulus funds and other money sooner. And if you've been negatively impacted by the pandemic from a financial standpoint, it's definitely in your best interest to get that return done as quickly as possible.